Right, this is game 4 of the group stage clash between Aliens and Predators and AoHD. Question in the chat is, isn't this a 4v4 tournament? Why are the teams playing 3v3? It is a 4v4 tournament, and towards the later stage, ages 4v4 will become obligatory for the teams to play. But at the group stages, with a lot of games and everything, it's a little bit more flexible. 3v3 can be easy to schedule, less laggy, etc. And
yes.
It also kind of adds a bit of a dynamic because if it's in the group stages, obviously you get really good teams against a lot teams that are a lot weaker, and 3v3, if they can choose between 3v3 and 4v4, they can prepare something special. Or maybe a team has 3 good players and then they're not able to field a really strong fourth. It gives you a bit more chance matching up against much stronger opponents sometimes. So I think it's a nice feature to have the group stage matches be more. Have that choice in the group stage matches, and then when it gets down to the serious stuff in the later rounds, then we make it a 4v4 tournament. But yeah, it's definitely meant to be 4v4 when stuff gets serious. So it's 2-1 to Aliens and Predators. AoHD played very well to take the first game 1-0 and kind of surprise Aliens and Predators on Arabia. But since then, I think the Aliens and Predators team has outclassed them in general. And going into this fourth game, the lineup for AoHD, which has remained the same for each game up until now, has changed a bit. LB10, who is one of the strongest AoHD players, cannot play this game out to its conclusion because he has to go to work about now. And Aliens and Predators wanted 4v4, so we've put in two new players. Bulletchen, who is in the orange, and wow, look at all these sheep he has. Just look at all the orange dots on the map. He could start a farm with that. Where's his TC? Over here, going up a little bit late. He's Swiss player playing in Persians. He's more of a water player than anything. Sorry, playing as Persians in the orange colour, and he also tells me he's drunk because his national team, Switzerland, played in the Euros earlier and he was drinking during that. The other new player for AoHD is Little Yo, who is better known as Myrenkos, but he went to the Vubli LAN last summer, wasn't it? And people called him Little Yo, so that he changed his Vubli name to that. I don't know whether it's because they thought he looked like the great Mr. Yo or something, but that was the nickname that he was given. And then joining him, returning from previous games, are Toady in the red and Tetrades in the blue. So really AoHD kind of conceding this game, but hoping to enjoy it nonetheless and give it our best shot. Matched up against them on the Aliens and Predators team is Hera, who's playing in the east corner, from the east corner in yellow as the Persians. Haven't seen him since game 1, I don't think, have we? And Alive is next to Chris in the top corner. Alive, purple Mayans, Chris, green Chinese, and who's the last one? Max, teal, Spanish, right next to Hera. So the Aliens and Predators team basically like in 2 groups and 2 in the north, of 2 groups of 2 in the north and the east. Toady and Tet are kind of close together in the west, and then the newcomers Bulletchen and Little Yo kind of close together in the east. So it's almost like a pocket and flank 4v4 type thing here, actually, with Tetrades being the only one who's a bit more towards the middle of the map than close to his sort of partner in the corners. Let's just briefly take notice of the civilizations. Persians, Mayans and Chinese for AoHD being strong nomad civs, so no surprise to see them. And we see the same ones for Aliens and Predators. The difference is in the 4th civilization, where Myrenkos, Little Yo, I'm going to call him Myrenkos more often, probably I might call him Wing because that's what I know him as. He's gone for Japanese, which will allow him to build lots of mills on all the shorefish, but it's not the strongest civ overall going into a later game if we get there. Whereas Max has gone with Spanish. 2 reasons for that. Obviously, if we get to the late game, Spanish trade very powerful, but also I imagine if he goes conks, then a conquistador raging on this map would be disgustingly powerful, I should think, as well. People discussing the Japanese pick in the chat. People saying build he can do better fishing ships in the ponds. I don't know if you'd find a pond that is big enough to build a dock. I suppose you could build a dock like there and then do fishing ships there, but there's no reason to do it. Fishing ships are incredibly slow gathering shorefish compared to villagers. Villager shorefish being one of, if not the fastest food and source in the game, ignoring like Mongols hunting or something. But we can see that, yeah, Minecraft's plans are to build mills everywhere here and shorefish like crazy. Lots of X's coming out for all of the teams, just like obviously scouting all over the map with sheep, trying to figure out where their enemies are. I'm not going to scroll through the points of view to figure out who's found who yet. Tet first to feudal age, clicking up with 20 villagers. He's actually in a good spot there. The other Chinese player, which is Chris, also in 20 villages, but maybe Tet's half a villager ahead there. Will just be down to how fast he got TC up, of course. So what's Tet going to do with his fast feudal? If he's gone to gold, he may even be able to FC off that, because the food will come in so quickly with all the villagers on shorefish. May be able to just do an insane FC timer with this. Hera alive and Chris all on the way. No other players clicked up for HD besides Tech just yet. Man, I'm really hungry. I can't wait to go and eat some food after this. And then watch Croatia v Portugal. It's just hit me. It's like, oh my god, I need food. So, everybody for the Aliens and Predators team is on the way. Max, the last one to click up. Big team walling coming out for Max and Hera on this side, just walling themselves in. And I guess Chris and Alive can do the same, but as far as team walling across the whole map, that would be highly impractical at this stage and unnecessary. Toadie's just going to wall himself into the corner, more or less. You see big palisades coming out. I wonder if anyone will sling here. Popular strategy on Bedouins and team games, in the Nations Cup especially, employed by China, was double slinging Mayans and then just spamming eagles. And I remember games being decided like that. And also then like in the Wooden Spoon, other teams pulling off that strategy as well, like lower rated teams employing it. I think even Leo do it, which tells you how powerful it is. I think they won a game with that or something. Maybe it was Netherlands B with Glocken. I sometimes get, like, in the mists of time when my memory's fading about a particular match that I casted or something, I sometimes get Leo and Netherlands B confused because they share so many players. But yeah, walling going up over here for both Bullet Chen and Minecraft. Seems like, just looking at village accounts, yeah, Bullet Chen isn't really behind, as someone said in the chat, compared to Hera in terms of village account, but he is a bit slower to feudal. Tet's managed to click up to Castle Age, clicking up at a time which means he'll reach the Castle Age at 15:24. So Tet will be first to the Castle Age, just 7 seconds ahead of Chris. He's dropped a stable. We've probably seen knights from him, and it's just the most massive wall off I've ever seen from Minecraft. Is he doing? I wonder if he'll sling as Japanese. Would be interesting. Bullet Chen doing market as well. Obviously, when you're so far away and your team walling, like, you can do market Blacksmith FC as well. Maybe Bullet's plan is to boom. Toadie going up, no problems as well, on the way to the Castle Age. Do you see any other military buildings? So Alive's going heavy on stone, so he'll do a castle and raid with plumed archers. Chris went market blacksmith. Stable for Hera as Persians, so probably one stable boom for him. And Max is going up market blacksmith as well. Is he on stone anywhere? Let me switch his point of view and find his mining camps, because I can't see them. Yeah, he's on stone, so he's probably going to do conch raiding. Hera is flaring these walls coming out. He's going to attack a villager with a scout, and he might be able to pick that villager off. And another scout coming. So Hera kind of doing a half scout rush, half FC probably, I would have thought. In fact, no, he's got 3 scouts on the pitch, so 4 scouts, so that's unfortunate for Marionkos then. Hera's scouts got him before he managed to close the wall. There weren't that many more tiles to do, but Marionkos has lost a few villagers here and is liable to lose a lot more. Because I don't see him kind of quick walling in all these villages, to be honest. He needs to drop a tile there and there at least to give them a chance to run around here. Yeah, he's done that, but he needs to keep running. Yeah, you could do that to save the vills, but you're not going to be gathering any food from those vills that you've trapped in there because they can't access the mill. Does he have building a barracks so he can do spearmen? I thought Hero was going to just do like a few scouts and FC, but he had a couple more than I expected. Because you could do like 2 or 3 scouts, and with the aid of all the shorefish, still have a respectable castle age time anyway. That wouldn't be very much delayed at all compared to like a standard FC. Tetrade is streaming knights across the map to Chris, but Chris has got a good wall off already. Basically completely walled in. He's plugged every hole, and he's going to do 3 town centres. Wow, 4 TC straight away. This is the power of shorefish enabling you to do that. So he's booming his heart out whilst he relies on the player next to him, alive to probably do some aggression with the plumed archers that will come out of his castle, but alive will also boom together with his plume production and raiding as well. Second TC, just the second one for now on whilst he continues to add knights. Marionkos is having a nightmare with these scouts. He's doing spearmen one at a time from the barracks, but they're not really managing to have an effect against such a number of scouts. And probably Marionkos has lost a village or 2 extra here, but at least he's got this wall up. However, it doesn't exactly completely seal her out because he can run around the side, and also 5 scouts don't take forever to bash through a palisade. Bullet Chen's doing some extra walling around there around the market. He just doesn't really want those scouts coming through to him, but he's leaving a hole here and here. So, and I don't really understand that stone wall tile actually, because it's not as if there is a gap by that market either. So he's going to take that ball and go into the TC. Okay, Bullet is slinging. He's sending the gold and food to Toady, who's on his way to the Imperial Age and ready to do eagles from behind his walls, backed up by the economy from Bullet. Going to be able to do that from a position of safety. And Tet is applying a bit of pressure to Chris, but he's going to destroy a mill at best and kill a couple of vills. It's not going to be the end of the world for Chris, who's booming happily behind his walls on 4 town centres. Are these teal dots conks? Yes, they are. So Marionkos, having been slowed down by the scout rush from Hera and not able to click up just yet, and Hera is on his way. Marionkos is probably going to suffer at the hands of conquistadors, and how you deal with conquistadors while still stuck in the feudal age, I really don't know. Marionkos is going to be the one who just really suffers in this game by the looks of it. That could leave the sling vulnerable for AoHD as well. If Bullet Chen is slinging and the player that's next to him is dying, then it could be that the sling doesn't last too much longer. So they're gonna. Tetrades is doing a good job of keeping some pressure on Chris and maybe alive as well, but they're going to be totally reliant on Toady, making this fast imp, eagle or elite eagle warrior play with sling as well actually pay off. Oh yeah, little Yo also slinging too. So it's double sling Mayans. And that's obviously why Marionkos didn't go to the Castle Age. Trying to break into Chris's base with those knights, but not going to destroy the market because Chris is going to repair it for all his life's worth with about 8 vills. Those conks and scouts just causing havoc on Marionkos' sling. It's going to be weaken so much. Tony's going to come over here with elite eagles to try and defend the sling and make sure those resources keep getting tributed to him, but it's going to be tough, like, for Toady to do that and try and do the damage on to the rest of the aliens and predator players. So as we look at the map, we start to see the semblance of an AoHD team wall coming up, but the thing is, those are foundations and not walls, and for this strategy to have been optimal, they needed those walls up a lot earlier. Hero's even going to get in with some knights now and kill off walling villagers, which might have been cast as sent out here unguarded, but it seems like Hero hasn't noticed, and those knights are going to stream past where, because of the fact that Minecraft has already lost a lot of stuff, they won't have much to hit that isn't right next to TCs. But 3 scouts have found their way down here to Bullet Chen's vills, so they may pick up 1 or 2 vills, but Bullet Chen will mob the scouts, which are on stand ground, so that should be cleaned up. +1 armor though, making those vills very ineffective against the scouts. So let's see how Toady's doing. Eagles in here, maybe pick up a vill. It seems to be just sending groups of 4 or 5 eagles everywhere, trying to figure out where's best to hit, but not concentrating his attack anywhere just for now. Just trying to do a bit of raiding, not launching any kind of decisive blow. Chris has been forced to stonewall to stop Tetrades from breaking in. And Toady's starting to pick up vills with his raiding now, but he'll need to pick up a lot more. Let's just go to Toady's. Okay, this team wall should be finished now, all the way up to Tet's base, and the slingers should be safe. But the thing is, they've suffered a lot of economy damage up to now, and it's weakened the sling considerably. And they're both in the feudal age as well, which means neither of them benefits from coinage, with Wick mod being switched on. None of the aliens and predators players are slinging. Alive with plumes, going to be able to defend against just small numbers of eagles, but if Tet brings in 15 +2, I was going to say +2 knights, but he's done blast furnace, but not +2 armor, which is actually going to come in for him now. But Chinese could also do blood knights as well, and it's really important just looking at the overall villager counts between the 2 teams, because AoHD are on like 180-ish, whereas the aliens and predators team are on kind of about 300. So even with the advantage of an Imperial Age player in the sling, the just total economic power of the aliens and predators team right now is just so much greater. And Hero's on his way to Imp. Toady's doing a good job of just spreading out, trying raiding in different parts, but he's not really able to land any kind of decisive attack right now. He's come forward with the castle, going to throw up siege works up, so maybe he'll look to target the Spanish player Max first, because that, judging by his positioning here, keep getting fooled by all these red dots and it's just sheep. That's a good massive plumes now to start taking pot shots at those knights and force them away from Alive's economy. Chris is booming like a monster up in the corner. So many farms and up to 105 vills. AoHD slingers are doing just fine, but such small economies. And Tetrades with I was going to say a late horse colour, but he will have been on shorefish for most of the game, so take that back really. He's only starting to do farms right now. And from his point of view though, lots of gold, not very much food, so it's going to be a long time until he's joining Toady in the Imperial Age. Toady's getting ready to mass and push against the Max. Rams coming out from him. We should see Siege Ram. Yeah, Siege Ram's coming in together with the Elite Eagles, so he needs to do damage. Like the window for this double sling of the mines to actually work is closing. He needs to really take someone out of the game, I think. Hera on the way. Sorry, Hera has reached the Imperial Age, so he's going to be doing Cavalier and eventually Paladin as Persians. I think Mayan Eagles with El Dorado are cost effective against Paladins, but they're obviously much weaker units individually, and Cody's losing a lot of his army here to Conquistadors and a Mangonel firing upon those Eagles and Rams as they try and take down the castle. Given how much weaker AoHD's economy is, total overall economy is, and the fact that most of it's being sent to Toady, he can't afford to stay in free damage to his units just like that. Toadie's getting ready to push on Chris. He's actually going to go for Petard through the walls, but Chris, maybe sensing it, is throwing up. Yeah, he sees the castle and he even sees its garrison, so double war just to be safe, even if it wasn't going to be Petard's. Got confused thinking Max was in the back of the AoHD economy there, but it's just some teal sheep. Toadie's still sending a few eagles here and there, solitary ram, but that's just kind of throwing that ram away. I'm going to switch to his point of view just to see, and go on military view just to see where most of his army is. He has 41 eagles, and yeah, most of them are coming here to try and support this now. Protect that trebuchet. But yeah, just looking at where the red dots are on the map now, Toady doesn't have any military attacking anywhere else, so this is the focus of his push. He's got a few at home as well, fighting off Alive's Castle Age plumed archers. So those elite eagles with El Dorado and +4 now will be basically impervious to Castle Age plumed archers. So Toady will do well not to leave too many eagles at home, but he's not making inroads here. He's not getting into the base of the Max, and double slinging mines for eagles. If your enemy team's just going to play standard, what that player doing the eagles needs to do is do a lot of decisive damage against one or two players pretty quickly. Otherwise, especially when you've got two feudal slingers with wick mod and therefore no coinage, that sling stops being very powerful at all. And you really just start to fall behind unless you do that damage, decisive damage early on. Tetrate hasn't been able to break in up here. Of course, he's gone up to 4 Petard to break through the double layer. So desperate to just get through the wall and start raiding. But the thing is, Tetrate can go in here, but he's going to go in with like a mixture of 15 light cavern knights. It doesn't mean it's not going to do that much. There are TCs everywhere. There's a castle, and Chris has such a big economy that he can respond to that without a moment's notice. Right hand side, this is actually where Chris is with a lot of light cav. Toadie's just not been able to take the fight. He's evacuated with all his eagles. All of his siege has gone down. There wasn't a big fight here because we don't see many eagle corpses. It's simply that the Aliens and Predators team has grouped up a large army of Cavaliers, light cavs, conquistadors, and Toadie's just said, screw that, I'm out of here. So AoHD totally dependent on him right now, and he's not able to achieve anything. He's actually fallen behind in score to Chris whilst receiving a sling from 2 players. It did get a few eagles in the back of the economy. We saw a few red dots and Tet in, killing some villagers of course, but ultimately Chris still has 100+ vills, and although he's being idled, Tet isn't going to kill Chris like this. He's in the Castle Age. This is a momentary setback for Chris, and ultimately he'll push out stronger. And now, even without siege, Aliens and Predators will take down Toadie's forward castle, where 4 villagers and trebuchet cower inside, awaiting their deaths. Toadie just doesn't have enough army here to take this fight. Obviously the light cavs are quite weak overall against the elite eagles, but lots of cavaliers and conquistadors, with Paladin being clicked with Hera. Still need some upgrades, only just now doing forging, but at least has all the armour. Elite conk coming out from Max, and Toadie's military is just diminishing quite rapidly here. He continues to stream the eagles across the map, but they're not. And adding halbs, actually, that's a nice choice. He's seeing so much cavalry from the enemy, but with all of the Aliens and Predators players getting into the Imperial Age, getting into the game. Toadie's window, I think, has just slammed shut on him. Ket's definitely done some damage to Chris, slowing him down, but he's also invested a lot in doing that damage. I think to really make that count, they needed to have like 30 of Toadie's Eagles going in there with Tet, but obviously Toadie is busy elsewhere on the map, on the right hand side. That's the problem, like, you can't be everywhere. So unless you kill a player early on, it's just not going to go well for you. And Aliens and Predators with a bit more map control as well. They're happily taking resources right on AoHD's doorstep outside of the team wall. Alive going to be the last player up to the Imperial Age for Aliens and Predators. He'll be getting Elite Plume for this mass here, and we see GG being called. It's fair enough, I think. Toadie's double sling of mines didn't work, as I've kept banging on about all of the Aliens and Predators teams into the Imperial Age, and only a matter of time before they would have crushed the resistance from AoHD. You only had 2 players higher up than the Feudal Age. So, 3-1 victory for Aliens and Predators in the end. Commanding victory overall after the first game. They were taken by surprise in the first game, but I think AoHD did exceptionally well to beat players of that level. They were certainly outmatched in terms of individual skill, but played well together and perhaps took Aliens versus Predators by surprise a little. Shocked everyone in taking the first game, but Aliens and Predators asserted their dominance afterwards, outclassed them in the remaining games, and they will take 3 points in the group stage round robin. AoHD won't get a point for this, but as they look to try and finish second in the group, perhaps it will. Taking a game will serve them well, because game difference is the tiebreaker. Right, what have we got? So my stream is done here, but in 40 minutes, Jeanette is due to stream Medis Boys versus Team 1v1, and that should be a really nice clash between fairly evenly matched teams, I think. I haven't looked over it completely, but the Medis Boys has got some good players like Phenor and Squeak, guys that are like 1900 team game players, and then Team 1v1 is, as the name says, players who are pretty good 1v1 players, 1900, 2k, etc. But kind of individuals coming together to form a new team, not having played with each other before, so perhaps lacking that team chemistry a little bit. I think those are going to be good games between fairly evenly skilled teams, although I'm expecting the Medis Boys team, which is kind of a Jedi team, to have a little bit more teamwork. That's going to be casted by Jeanette in under 40 minutes now. I assume he'll come online with the stream beforehand, so stick around for more AOC, and also head to aoczone.net to see the event calendar, because there are loads more streams coming your way tomorrow as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you tomorrow, because I'll be back tomorrow streaming Rulers of Rome versus Villains. So see ya.